Hello, dear students. This is Sandhya Bijay, lecturer in chemistry, SJPNPU College, Nitsusi. I am doing a new chapter that is about the P block elements, and this P block element is present in part 2 and the unit number is 11. So totally of 7 marks question will be arise from this unit. So I have already discussed about the periodic elements, right? Periodicity and classification of elements in the periodic table. In that I have also told about this P block elements. So let us now discuss more about this P block elements separately. So we all know P block elements. The meaning of the P block elements is the subshell, that is they are going to enter into the P subshell. And in the periodic table, P block elements present from group 13 to group 18. The group 13 to group 18 elements in the periodic table are called as P block elements. Most of the elements in this P block elements belongs to non-metals, and they are non-metallic in their character, and they usually forms acidic oxides. This also I have discussed during the classification of elements. That is the extreme right end of the periodic table, they are going to form oxides. Their oxides are usually acidic in nature, as well as they are having a non-metallic character. The extreme right end in the periodic table, which is also called as P block elements. Their compounds are covalent in nature. This also I have already discussed while saying about the P block elements, that is group 13 to group 18 elements are always going to form a covalent compound, and therefore they are covalent in nature. Next, about the group 13 elements, only group 13 elements, and usually they are having a general electronic configuration of noble gas. Here there will be a noble gas NS2 and NP1. This is the general electronic configuration of group 13 elements. And which are the elements present in this group 13 elements? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. These are the different elements which is present in the group 13. So about the general electronic configuration. So usually the P block elements, this also I have already discussed that it's having a general electronic configuration of noble gas NH2 and NP1 to 6. So the meaning of this P block element is the differentiating electrons enters the outermost P subshell of their atoms. Right, they are going to enter into the P subshell. P block elements are different from corresponding S block elements largely due to the difference in their electronic configuration. Not only in their electronic configuration they are going to differ, they are also going to differ because of their different properties. Either it may be physical properties or it may be chemical properties. S block elements as well as P block elements are going to differ from each other. However, the lighter P block elements and the heavier P block elements differ due to decrease in size and increase in effective nuclear charge with the increasing in atomic number. We all know that by the increasing in the atomic number in the periodic table, the effective nuclear charge also increases. And what happens? There will be a difference between the lighter p block elements and the heavier p block elements. So this difference is mainly due to the decrease in their size. One is because of their atomic size, they are going to decrease, and they are going to have an increase in their effective nuclear charge. So this causes a difference in the ionization energy, electron affinity. So electron affinity, you all know that. What is the meaning of electron affinity? What is the meaning of ionization energy, and as well as the meaning of an electronegativity. So between these heavier and lighter p block elements, this also causes a differences: ionization energy, electron affinity, and then electronegativity. Electron affinity is nothing but an electron gain enthalpy. I have already discussed in the unit 3. Next is about the electronic configuration of group 13 elements. So I have already told the general electronic configuration of group 13 is noble gas Ns2 Np1. So group 13 elements have 2 electrons in the outermost S subshell and 1 electron in the outermost P subshell, right? Ns2 and Np1. So boron, its atomic number is 5, helium 2s2 2p1. Aluminium, its atomic number is 13, neon 3s2 3p1. Gallium, its atomic number is 31, argon 3d10 4s2 4p1. And then indium 49 is its atomic number, and its electronic configuration is krypton 4d10 5s2 and 5p1. Then thallium, its atomic number is 81, and the electronic configuration of thallium is xenon 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p1. So here you can see 4f14 5d10, which is completely filled f orbital and d orbital. Here you can see the completely filled d orbital, and here also you can see the completely filled d orbital in gallium. So how does the difference in their atomic size? Even though group 13 elements should exhibit similarity in their properties, one can observe slight variation in their properties. So I have told about the anomalous behavior of p block elements. If you remember that, you can understand this concept very easily. So the first anomalous behavior of p block element is their atomic size. Aluminium has a sharp increase in their size from that of boron. Here you can see the atomic size between boron and an aluminium. This is due to the greater screening effect produced by 8 electrons of L shell in aluminium. So aluminium is going to form a shielding effect, or else you can call it as a screening effect, and therefore they are going to have a highest atomic size compared to boron. So the next element, gallium, has a smaller atomic radius comparatively to aluminium, right? So 143 is aluminium, whereas gallium is having a 135 atomic size. So this is because of the completely filled 3D subshell, which cannot shield or which cannot screen the outermost electron from the nuclear force of attraction. So due to the presence of completely filled orbital in the gallium, it cannot shield or screen the electron from the attraction. So it is having a less compared to aluminium. Gallium has a less atomic size compared to aluminium. Next is about the ionization enthalpy. The ionization enthalpy, you all know, it should decrease down the group and it should increase across a period. However, The decrease in ionization enthalpy is sharp from boron to aluminium, and again this is due to the sharp increase in the atomic radius. Right, you have already seen that atomic size. So because of that, even the ionization enthalpy, usually they are going to decrease down the group. So there will be a sharp decrease from boron to aluminium. So boron has a ionization enthalpy of 800 kilojoule per mole, whereas aluminium has a very least compared to boron, that is 577, only because of their size and because of their radius. The ionization energy increases sharply from aluminium to gallium due to imperfect shielding effect of filled 3D shell. So you have already seen that atomic size of aluminium and gallium, and therefore here also the ionization enthalpy also having a difference in their value. So 577 kilojoule per mole of aluminium, whereas gallium has 578, which is a least difference, and this is due to the presence of a shielding effect. And similarly, thallium has a higher ionization energy than indium due to the imperfect shielding by the completely filled 4f subshell. So I have told during the electronic configuration about their completely filled shells, 4f, f subshell, and then D subshell. They have completely filled subshell. Only because of that they are going to have a difference in their atomic size, ionization enthalpy as well. Next is about their oxidation state, electropositivity, and then electronegativity. So oxidation state is almost related to the valency, electropositivity, and then we have already studied about that, about the electronegativity. So oxidation states, boron and aluminium exhibit +3 oxidation state because their 3 valence electrons are involved in the bond formation. So outermost electron are going to involve in the bond formation, and therefore they are going to have a +3 oxidation state. Gallium, indium and thallium exhibit +1 oxidation state due to their inert pair effect. So here we should know the meaning of the inert pair effect. Inert pair effect is the tendency of the 2 electron in the outermost atomic orbital to remain unshared in the compounds of the transition metals, or it may be a post transition metals. So it is the tendency of the 2 electron in the outermost atomic orbital to remain unshared. Therefore, gallium, indium and thallium exhibit only +1 oxidation state, and the ns electron do not take part in the bonding. Next is about the electropositive character. This electropositive character increases from boron to aluminium and then decreases down the group. Even though aluminium is more metallic than boron, due to large increase in atomic size, the heavier members of the group have filled D subshells or F subshell, which cause imperfect shielding. Hence, metallic property are also decreases. As we all know, the p block elements are having a non-metallic character, and therefore comparatively to boron and aluminium, aluminium is metallic compared to boron. And electronegativity, about the electronegativity. The electronegativity also decreases from boron to aluminium and then increases slightly. There will be a slight differences. Down the group, usually the electronegativity decreases. So here I have shown some electronegativity of group 13 elements: 2, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 and 1.8 of thallium. Next is about the density. So aluminium shows exceptionally low density, otherwise the density increases gradually down the group. Except this aluminium, the density increases gradually down the group, and the low density of this aluminium is due to the sharp increase in atomic size from boron to aluminium. Only because of their increase in the atomic size, they are going to have a least density compared to other in the group 13 elements. Next is about the tendency to form ionic compounds. So usually we know that p block elements is going to form a covalent compound, but they are having a tendency to form ionic compounds. Boron can form only covalent compound because of the high ionization enthalpy. However, heavier members of group 13 have lower ionization enthalpy and can form, or they are going to have ability to form ionic compounds in +3 oxidation state. And these are some example: aluminium, gallium and then indium. Thallium shows +1 oxidation state due to inert pair effect of 6s2 electron, and they are also going to form a ionic compound. Then reaction with that of air. Action of air. Boron does not react with air at ordinary temperature. During the normal temperature, they does not react with the air. When heated with air, it burns brilliantly to form boron trioxide and boron nitride. So, if we raise the temperature, boron can react with air. So, air alli nimage already gottide oxygen and nitrogen ಜಾಸ್ತಿ percentage ಅಲ್ಲಿ present ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So I have written here the boron trioxide. When boron reacts with oxygen, if we heat the reaction, then it will form a boron trioxide. And the second reaction is boron nitride. That is, when boron is treated with air and it is going to be heat, and it will form a boron nitride. Aluminium is not attacked by dry air, but it gets a coating of aluminium oxide in the presence of moist air. So, aluminium should need a moist air rather than a dry air. So, ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಏರಲ್ಲಿ, ಆವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಮ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಟು ಇಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಕೋಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಂ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಕೊರೋಷನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಂ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕೊರೋಷನ್. When heated, aluminium burns brightly in air to form aluminium oxide. So, aluminium, when it is heated with the air, and it will form a aluminium oxide. The ionization enthalpy will be 3230 kilojoule per mole. Gallium and indium are solid metals that do not react with air. Thallium is more reactive than gallium and indium because it can form Tl plus ion readily. Hence it is oxidized by moist air. So gallium ಮತ್ತು indium react ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, but thallium can be effectively react with the air forming an oxide, and that too using an moist air. And another reaction is reaction with water. Boron does not react with water. However, aluminium decomposes cold water. Gallium and indium do not react with cold as well as hot water. Thallium decomposes steam at red hot. So, boron as well as gallium, indium do not react with the water. But yes, even gallium and indium do not react with the cold as well as the hot water, whereas aluminium decomposes the cold water, whereas thallium decomposes the steam at red hot. Formation of hydrides. Boron forms a large number of covalent hydride, and usually these are called as boranes. Diborane, tetraborane, these are the examples of formation of hydride, and boron can easily form a covalent compound. These are called as covalent hydride. Boranes anta karitivi. Boron jate hydrogen react adaga it going to form a boranes. Diborane and tetraborane is some example. Aluminium forms polymeric hydride. For example, AlH3 whole N. So N in the sense polymer. You all know polymers na ನಾವು N ಇಂದ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Gallium, indium and thallium also form GaH3, InH3 and TlH3. Gallium hydride, indium hydride and then thallium hydride, but they are very much unstable. They are not stable in their nature. Boron, aluminium and gallium also form complex hydrides like lithium aluminium hydride. So they are having an ability to form a complex hydride, and the important example for that is lithium aluminium hydride, sodium borohydride, lithium gallium hydride, and these are used as a powerful reducing agents. If we have already studied this about the highest reducing agent, that is powerful reducing agents are lithium aluminium hydride, sodium borohydride, etc. And about the oxides, group 13 into oxide formation ability. Boron forms boron trioxide or boric oxide, which is the common oxide of boron. It is prepared by heating boric acid to 1000 degrees Celsius. It behaves as an acid. So boric acid na ನಾವು 1000 degrees Celsius ಅಷ್ಟು heat ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ we are going to get a boric oxide. Along with that byproduct water will be formed. Alumina, that is aluminium oxide. It is the common oxide of aluminium. It is prepared by heating aluminium with oxygen. It is amphoteric and highly stable oxide. Amphoteric in the sense they can have an ability to behave both as an acidic and as well as an both as an basic. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಂಫೋಟರಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಬ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ರೊಮೆಟೋಗ್ರಫಿ. ಕ್ರೊಮೆಟೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಪರೇಷನ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಾನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Gallium oxide is also amphoteric in nature, whereas indium oxide and thallium oxide are basic in nature. So aluminium ಮತ್ತು gallium ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಂಫೋಟರಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಅದೇ ನಮಗೆ ಬೋರಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡು ನಮಗೆ ಅಸಿಡಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್, ವೆರಾಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಥ್ಯಾಲಿಯಮ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್. Next is about the ability to form halides. Boron forms covalent halide like boron trifluoride, boron trichloride. They are electron deficient compound and act as a Lewis acid. So though they are electron deficient compound and therefore they are going to act as an Lewis acid. So boron trifluoride and then boron trichloride, which is going to form a covalent compound. Aluminium chloride is also a Lewis acid and used as a catalyst in Friedel-Crafts reaction. So a naming reaction called as Friedel-Crafts reaction is there. In that aluminium chloride is usually used as a catalyst. It exists as a dimer, that is Al2Cl6 below 400 degrees Celsius and monomer, that is AlCl3 at high temperature. Gallium chloride, indium trichloride, thallium trichloride are also covalent in nature. However, their covalent character decreases and ionic character increases down the group. Next is about the anomalous properties of the boron. Boron is the first member of the group 13, hence it differs from other members of the group in several properties due to their small atomic size and having a highest ionization enthalpy. Boron is a smaller atom, hence it is harder than other members of the group. Though it is being a small atom, it is very much harder compared to other elements in the group 13 elements. Boron forms covalent compounds due to its high ionization enthalpy. Other members of the group covalent as well as ionic compound. So this is also another anomalous or different behavior of a boron, that is it going to form only a covalent compound, whereas other members of the group can have a ability to form both ionic and then covalent compound. Boron form acidic oxide, you have already seen this. Boron trioxide, acidic hydroxide, that is boric acid. Aluminium and gallium form a amphoteric oxide, that is they can behave both as an acidic and then basic in nature, whereas indium and thallium forms only basic in nature, oxides as well as hydroxide. Boron trioxide form metaborates with sodium hydroxide. When this boron trioxide reacts with sodium hydroxide, it going to form a metallic borate and a byproduct water. So this is about the group 13 elements, that is, and about their oxides, about their halides and their hydrides, etc. About group 13 elements I have told today, and if you have any doubts regarding the topic, you can clarify your doubts, and thank you for watching the video.